Have you ever seen this painting? The name of this engraving is The Bloody Massacre in Boston by Paul Revere. The Boston Massacre has been long time termed as massacre because it holds historical significance. It is because Boston Massacre triggered the American Revolution, and also it was a microcosm of the conflict or tension between the British soldiers and the American colonists. However, the general conception, the Boston Massacre, was a massacre, needs to be corrected in some ways. From now on, I will discuss what is massacre and examine the primary sources about this incident and deny the general conception that Boston Massacre is a massacre. Okay, so let me first introduce idea of massacre. Professor Dorian Falcon in University of Chicago defined massacre as above. This definition provides three characteristics of massacre. First, massacre should involve deaths of many people. Second, massacre should be done by people, a group of people who have the intention to kill. And third, the massacre should involve two parties, one dominant and another victimized. Then why is Boston Massacre not a massacre? Number of casualties in Boston Massacre is too less to be a massacre. Massacre in Korea, for example, to name some of those, we have Jeju Massacre, Bodo Lake Massacre, and Gwangju Massacre. Each of the incidents at least brought deaths of like 235 people. However, the Boston Massacre only carried the number of casualties about 5, which is too minute to be called as a massacre. And also, British soldiers had no intent to kill. British soldiers used their arms mistakenly, without no proper line of command. Captain Preston, for example, said that he had made no order to fight against the civilians, which is supported by testimony of Matthew Murray and John Whitehouse. Here, Matthew Murray, closely standing to Captain Preston, did not see Captain Preston shouting to fire. And Jane Whitehouse, more interestingly, pointed out the existence of British soldiers, existence of mysterious man who encouraged British soldiers to fire. But he was not Captain Preston who was leading the British soldiers. So it is very, British soldiers might not have the willingness to take lives of the civilians in Boston. Furthermore, the colonists might not be innocent victims. The colonists were the ones commenced the bloody offense. According to Captain Preston again, according to Captain Preston, the colonists attempted to invade the king's custom house, beating soldiers and captains in the military with clubs, which is again supported by testimony of other eyewitnesses like Andrew. Andrew here said that 50 colonists were offending soldiers with snowballs and wood clubs. Soldiers might have felt that they were in imminent danger. And it's very difficult to differentiate between the victimized party and the dominant party. So let me wrap up my argument. Boston Massacre should not be called a massacre because the firing did not entail many deaths. It was implemented without the intention to kill. And it was in some ways means of self-protection for British armies. John Adams, the founding father of the United States, marked that judgment of death against those British soldiers would have been as foul a stain upon this country as the executions of Quakers or witches anciently, which shows that Boston Massacre might not be a massacre that we imagine too. Thank you for listening.